Hey everybody, it's Pete. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining me today. It is Wednesday morning, March 10th, 2021. Today we're going to talk about the tech stock rally. We're going to talk about electric vehicle stocks. We're going to drill down into a total of nine stocks that we think might be the best stocks to buy right now. As with everything, these are all for educational purposes. You make your own decisions about whether it's right for your portfolio. You have to discuss with yourself your risk tolerance, your experience, and your appetite for putting on some of these trades. And yes, we're going to talk about GameStop today. It's a stock that you basically can't ignore talking about. Whether you trade it or not, it's a pretty fascinating thing that's going on Wall Street right now. We're going to highlight the electric vehicle stocks today, specifically Tesla and the almost 20% rally it had yesterday and what it means for that entire sector. And we're really going to talk about the big three stocks that we trade most of the time, which is Tesla, NIO, and XPEV. What that rally means. We're also going to talk about 3D printers today and the rally that they had yesterday after getting beat up a little bit and looking like now we're starting to see, or yesterday we started to see what we call an accumulation day, not quite a fuel day, excuse me, where buyers started to step in on the way down. Now, this is only one day. This is a big question we kept getting yesterday on the tech rally. There was a lot of stocks that bounced. Everybody's like, can I get involved now? Can I get involved now? Which is great questions for new members of the boot camp, which, by the way, if you want to join us for the next 30 days, click down into the description. You'll see how. One day of buying, and we talk about this a lot, one day of buying in a bearish order flow, which a lot of these tech stocks have been in. It's a good start. It's exciting. It's something that you definitely want to sit up and say, yeah, let's get going, but it's only one day. Great traders, legendary traders, people who have made money over months and years and decades, dip their toes in first during bear market reversals. A lot of these tech stocks are not heading higher. A lot of them actually have been getting beat up over the last month and a half, pretty much since 2021 started, including Apple. We posted Apple yesterday that we were looking for a big move. We got the start of a big move. You would put on what's known as your probe, your first position of a trade. And then as it moves in your favor, if it moves in your favor, then you start to add to the position. That's smart trading. Going in with full share size on one good day of rallying while your stock is in a bearish order flow, it's just not smart trading. There's no other way to put it. You want to end up having the most shares when the trade's working out and the least shares if the trade doesn't, which means if you're buying on the way down, which a lot of people wanted to do yesterday, we had to kind of talk them off the ledge and say, build that position. If you like it longer term, it's a different trade than if you're looking to day trade it right now. There was some good day trading opportunities yesterday. Good volume, good follow through. End of day got a little squirrely where the SPY sold off at the end of the day. But look, you got to separate day trading from swing trading. If you're day trading, you understand that that's within that tight window. If you're swing trading, that little intraday pullback doesn't mean much to you. So we're going to head over. The futures are kind of S&P futures specifically slightly positive. Looking for follow through. We actually said yesterday morning that we had a little bit of a conundrum where, I know that's a weird word for early in the morning, a little bit of lack of clarity is probably the better way to put it after Monday night's trading, where the market and the SPY again specifically was well bid, but closed near the low. So we were looking for yesterday to open lower and push lower. It didn't. So we went to our long stocks and actually had a pretty good day of trading yesterday. So we're going to head over to the charts today. We have 9 different stocks we're going to take a look at right now. By the way, if you could do me a favor, if you like these videos, find them helpful, and especially if there's something that you want to talk about that we have in the videos, click down, subscribe, give us a thumbs up. But more importantly, I want to actually have a discussion. Click down into the comments and let me know if you have any questions about the stocks that we're talking about today. I'd love to have a little bit of a back and forth, okay? So we're going to head on over to the charts. We're going to take a look. We're going to start out with the futures. You can see here that we're basically floating above zero, which is actually not the worst thing in the world right now because of how strong the market was yesterday. This is really the big thing. Everybody's giving a lot of press, for lack of a better way of putting it. Stocks rise after wild tech reboot. It's one day, everybody. One day. It's great. It's exciting. It's what we want to see. Tech getting back into the mix. The market is kind of shifting. If you read this article, I'll leave the link for it below the video. If you read this article on Reuters, it's essentially talking about the market and tech stocks are rebooting, but it's really more about the overall world rebooting with the positive news about vaccine. How are we going to shift back into a normal market? How are we going to shift back into getting out of the house? And we've seen that kind of bounce. We've been watching the airline stocks, the cruise line stocks, all of those quote unquote get out of the house stocks. And we're in a really interesting moment right now, because are we in a potential change with the possibility of interest rates rising? Are we just pausing before new stimulus packages get passed and we rocket higher? Right now, we're kind of in that bubble. We're kind of in the middle of that right now. And unfortunately, sometimes a change of trend is the easiest to recognize after it happens. So right now, we're kind of going sideways. And I'll point that out on the SPY itself. If you can visualize the longer term picture of the SPY here, this is still looking good on the daily chart. The weekly chart, obviously, if we zoom it out, going all the way back to April, March of last year, which is really what we're looking at, the uptrend's still valid. And really, to say that this uptrend has cracked, you really need to go a little bit deeper and draw a line where it broke the trend, which is right here in the last week or so. So this is really the line in the sand. Until that line in the sand, roughly 371 in that area, we're still in a confirmed uptrend. Excuse me, I'm doing a lot of talking this week. So if we break below that level, that's a confirmed trend. I know a lot of people looking at various moving averages and whatnot. We talked about that on the daily chart. I'd like to see a little bit more than it just closing below that price once. We talked about the 50-period moving average. You have to pay attention to what everybody else watches. This is the line in the sand that I'm watching. This is the longer-term weekly. Because look, if we're talking about longer-term bull markets, we can't be doing it day by day by day. It gives you the entry points. It gives you what you're looking at. But in our world, I just want to make this clear. If you're trading a little bit longer term, if you're what's known as a swing trader, which we have quite a few of those in our community, the day-by-day price action is where you're timing your entries, which is the weekly and the monthly charts. You're going out a little longer. You want to see those commitments from the smart money over weeks and months, not one day. One day is a great start. And we're going to talk about that in Tesla right now. And we obviously the tech stocks yesterday. But if you're looking longer term, the daily charts are nothing more than where you're fine tuning your entries, your profit targets. That's so critical to understand. A lot of people are panicking. Price went below the 50-period moving average, and that's great, but it was one day. We're fighting 12 months worth of buying versus 1 or 2 days. I'm not saying the market's clear in a raging uptrend. What I am saying is that it's not in a confirmed downtrend yet. So if you're bullish out there, if you buy stocks and you love to buy stocks, have faith right now. The biggest thing you need to pay attention to is that 371 level in the SPY and all the conversations about interest rates right now, because that is really the number one thing that can spook the market. So if you're a casual trader right now, you're watching the stock market kind of part-time, those are the two biggest things that I'd be focusing on right now, okay? So that's what we got going on in the market. Getting back into the actual stocks we're going to take a look at today. Tesla is obviously at the top of the list of what we're watching. Big, almost 20% yesterday, opening slightly lower today. So again, you can see the line in the sand where everybody is actually paying attention to. For Tesla to get back above this significant level, we're talking it's got to get back up to almost 770, I believe is the level up there. So it's got a ways to go. Let me actually pull this off there so we don't get distracted. Now, the biggest thing you want to start to pay attention to is how was volume compared to the previous few days. I'm going to mention this in the 3D printing stocks as well. This was great. It was amazing. But again, looking at the little bit longer time frame, we are fighting 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks of solid selling into yesterday. It was a start. But what we want to pay attention to now, as we said, you need to see some kind of confirmation. And we talked about this in XPEV and NEO the last couple of days. We said, this is okay. We're looking at, if you go back to the video a couple of days ago, we said we're looking for it to start buying in this area. And then we want to see smart money step up and start punching it above the weekly charts so we can start building a position. Tesla is very close. So 720 is the level that we want to see in Tesla. Now, what's not good that you need to pay attention to, which is the opposite of what we're going to talk about in the 3D printing right now, is look at the volume in Tesla. The price action on the weekly chart is great. We need to see this volume get above what it was for the last 2 weeks. Zooming that down into the day, you can see again, the last day of selling, which was we call an inside candlestick, a pause, was met by fresh buying and higher volume. That's a great start. So have in your mind right now, 720 is the big level that we're going to be watching for. XPEV, and let me get that out of there. Also, increase in volume. Again, did not close near the low, though. NEO probably had a little bit of a better day where it closed up 17 and change. where volume did come in. We went from well offered into inside into well bid. It's one of our favorite reversal patterns. But again, you're fighting all of these weeks of selling. So if you go back to the video that we had on Monday, you need to start to see them doing it over time. And based on the weekly chart, NEO got hammered. We got a lot of room to go. We're talking about well over $50. So hopefully this week, for the scenario to build out for this week for NEO, if you started to build your position yesterday, the next spot to buy NEO would be this week finishing. And then next week, we get above this week's high, and that gives us lines in the sand. If you're new to trading, especially if you're new to tape reading, one of the most amazing things that happens is when you understand how to start reading the tape. When you become a tape reader in the stock market, you start to have this price matters. And if it moves further, away or further away from a price, you know exactly if that stock is strong or weak. And I know that sounds ridiculously insane, but most people don't do that. Most people just buy because they hit an alert or buy because they read a story. What we're doing here is we're having conversations about how to actually read price action so that you have a risk point so that you can set your profit targets. If you put on a trade where you don't understand the risk and you don't have actual profit targets, realistic profit targets that justifies taking the risk, then you're not really trading. Then you're just hoping to make money. If you want to do it the way we do it, we actually have risk, reward, and probability, and it plays itself out over time. It's funny. We actually had a question yesterday that I thought was pretty good about why, when the market's exploding, are some of the swing trades we had not making money. That's a part of trading. We have no idea which of the 10 we're going to make money. But at the end, if we do what we're supposed to, which is keep our losses small and have those exact profit targets, which is a huge part of trading. Think about, why would you take risk if you don't know what the profit is on the deal? You're just hoping to make money. That's silly. You want to raise your game. You want to say, if I accept this risk, what can I make on it? That's what we're talking about now, NEO. We gave you the line in the sand in Tesla, NEO, and XPEV. And that's really where trading becomes exciting, because you know what you're doing. We're going to hop on over to 3D printing stocks. You can see here SSYS, big explosion in volume yesterday, and the stock went well bid. So we pushed down well bid with increase in volume. So we're starting to see a little bit of accumulation there. And then triple D, we're going to have to zoom this chart out a little bit. You can see here as well, inside candlestick into well bid, looking for some follow through. So again, we're fighting 4 weeks of selling after the stock exploded, pulled all the way back. This is the start. So if you like these stocks, you like it at these prices, this is where you start to build a position. That's a good sign with the accumulation. But again, we're looking for first piece and then add as moves in our favor. Remember, you want basic math to work in your favor, which is the most shares when the trade's working out, understanding when to add. And we have very strict criteria when to add as well. And if it moves against you, no big deal. That's the cost of doing business. You had the least amount of shares when it moved against you. So other stocks we'll be watching today, CAN. Again, we're sticking with some stocks that are breaking out where the smart money's involved. CAN, new 20-day high yesterday. Really good expansion candlestick. Looking for follow through there as well. STT, another one. Again, we're looking for stuff that is reaching new levels and shows smart money activity. This gives us a little bit of conviction that somebody with deeper pockets did something significant, higher volume, new levels. That's what we want to take a look at. And then we're going to talk about Visa and MasterCard. And if we zoom out a little bit here, let me actually just get this off of there so it's cleaner. You can see that we're actually now breaking out to new levels. So Visa, no entry here for me yet. We want to see the stock go well bid and close strong. It went through the level, did not close strong, and then actually closed on the lows into what we call, again, a pause. So I really want to see Visa break out of yesterday's trading range, and MasterCard a little bit better price action, closed above the open. But again, it pushed up and failed, pushed up and failed. So it's great that it stayed above the breakout level, but now we need to see the buyers step back up and hold it for more than just the opening. So these are the little clues that when you really start to put the pieces together, which we call building an argument in the boot camp, this is where trading gets really exciting. So those are some of the stocks. We're going to be both day trading as well as looking for a little bit longer term plays. Obviously, we could take a look at Apple today. A lot of people got excited about Apple. We actually had it as our featured idea yesterday. And again, if we zoom out and we take a look at whether or not it was a day to be excited, decreased volume on a day that it traded up. We had it in the list yesterday. We think that it's going to be rallying off of this level, but not yet. See, this is where trading is you get to the next level. You get to the next level where you're not just trading price action. You're putting risk in there. You're putting reward in there. You're putting volume in there. You're putting smart money in there. And then you decide if it's worth justifying the risk. We called out Apple yesterday. It was our featured stock. We actually got a rally. Now we need to see follow through. These are the little pieces that make you higher than a chart reader. The chart readers struggle and fail because they're just looking for patterns. What we're doing here, we want to aspire to be traders. We want to aspire to really put the pieces together. So, you know what? If I risk $500, there's a darn good chance I'm going to make at least $1,500. And here's why. And you put reason 1, reason 2, reason 3, reason 4. Apple maybe has reason 1 right now, which is had some good news. The catalyst held, the bid, the tech stock rallies. Now we need to see the smart money step up and say, you know what? Let's start building a position here, and then we'll piggyback what they do. So thank you so much for joining me today. Those are some of the stocks we're going to be watching today. If you find these videos helpful, definitely click down and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. And definitely give us a thumbs up. That would be awesome. So have a profitable day. Trade like a pro. I'll see you tomorrow. Take care, everybody.